Hello again, you smiley peoples and beautiful souls. I am a big fan of Bill Watterson. I have all of his comic books. Let me just introduce you. He is the reason this is his Calvin and Hobbes Lazy Sunday comic book, for example. Um, he is the reason. This is Calvin. This is Hobbes. Basically, this is a little 5 or 6 year old who has a imagination that's really wild, and every time his parents are not looking, his stuffed tiger Hobbs come to life, and they have all kinds of adventures together. They get in all kinds of trouble together. I really love this little guy since before my son was born. He is the reason I have my son's name is James Calvin. Okay? And the reason his middle name is Calvin is because of this little guy right here, Calvin and Hobbes. So that's an introduction of Bill Watterson, and he does these really cool comics strips. All right, but this is not about these comic strip books. I paid good money for his book to come out, which I paid it like maybe 6 to 9 months in advance. Okay, so this is the new book that he made with It's called The Mysteries. Bill Watterson and the artist John, I guess Kascht. John Kascht is the artist, and Bill Watterson is the writer. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm disappointed in this book. I spent at least over $20 for it. $20 or over. I can't quite remember because I ordered it so long ago. And B, this is not about Bill Watterson's writing. It's so much as it is about John Kascht's artistry work. So I'm going to read this book. So welcome to my premiere. And let's review this book. One reason why I do not like this book is because it's black and it has a velvety cover to it, so it gets dirty easy. So that's a drawback. But let's read the cover. Bill Watterson created the newspaper comic strip Calvin and Hobbes, like you see here, right? His work is on long-term loan at the Ohio State University, Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum. I did not know this. John Kascht has curated thousands of famous faces for magazines, newspapers, and Broadway marquees. His work is collected by the National Portrait Gallery. Okay, so he's a portrait person. Now this book, In a fake for grown-ups, fable. In a fable for grown-ups by cartoonist Bill Watterson, a long ago kingdom is afflicted with unexplainable calamities. Hoping to end the torment, the king dispatches his knights to discover the source of the mysterious events. Years later, a single battered knight returns. For the book's illustrations, Watterson and caricaturist John Kascht worked together for several years. Several years this book took. In unusually close collaboration. Both artists abandoned their past ways of working, inventing images together that neither could anticipate, a mysterious process in its own right. So I don't know who sketched these pictures, John or Bill? Let's read the story. Like I said, I'm disappointed. I guess they made this book for the art, the pictures, because it sure isn't Bill Watterson's writing, that's for sure. Because look at the book. The book came out, copyright 2023. Look at the writing. That's it. Long ago, the forest was dark and deep. And there's the forest. There, shrouded in the midst, lived the mysteries. Nobody had ever seen them, but they seemed to be everywhere. So this is the mysteries? And the people lived in suspicion and fear. To protect themselves, the people built enormous walls. And within those walls, storytellers told the mysteries, bizarre and terrifying powers. Artists depicted the people's many sufferings. Guys, I don't like this book at all. I'm putting this review up. Please comment down below if you are a Bill Watterson aficionado, because I'm disappointed in this book. For the price that it was and the anticipation. If only we could be rid of those horrible mysteries, people whispered, glancing over their shoulders. But every day, things happened for which there was no explanation. These were frightful times. Finally, the desperate king summoned the knights and ordered them to capture a mystery. Perhaps the mystery's secrets could be learned and their powers could be thwarted. So the knights set off into the misty forest. Year after year they searched. Many knights were never seen again. But eventually, one dazed and exhausted knight staggered back to the king. Echo, turn off the living room light.
Okay.
That's better, huh? A mystery had been captured. The public thronged to the great unveiling, but the mystery was nothing like the ancient stories that had led the ancient. But the mystery was nothing like what the ancient stories had led the people to expect. The other thing that's wrong with these, in my opinion, that's wrong with these, the pages are glossy, so the light hits it and you can't, read it. You know, the people were stunned. The mystery looked unsurprisingly ordinary. Once understood, its powers were not all that remarkable. It's like it's like somebody did the pictures and then they made a story up to go with the pictures so that John could show off his pictures. And it's really not that great of a story either, Bill. And over time, each new mystery they discovered was even less impressive. Gradually, the people stopped fearing the mysteries. They laughed at the old paintings. Soon the great walls were dismantled and the forest was cut down. The people spread across this once fearsome land. Oh, now the knights, okay, turned into the urban living that we know today. I wasn't expecting that. The mysteries vanished and the people lived luxuriously. They were finally in control of everything. He's even got a Slurpee. I wasn't expecting this turn of events. By and by, however, the sky turned a slightly weird color. People wondered about it, but the king assured everyone that this was perfectly normal, that this was a perfectly normal variation. And here's the king now on television. Nevertheless, the wizards watched the horizon uneasily and made note of the strange creaks and shudders occurring far below in the ground. And here's Galileo on his transistor radio. Acrid smells. See, I'm having trouble reading because of the glossiness of the light, but I need a light on. So it wasn't a good idea to make this glossy paper. Acrid smells drifted in from across the seas. Sometimes flaming objects fell from the skies. He's looking the wrong way. He should be looking behind him. Animals started migrating to remote corners of the earth. The scouring winds became more persistent, and more often things disappeared. Rather late, the people grew alarmed. Time moved on. Centuries passed. Eons passed. The universe continued as usual, and the mysteries lived happily ever after. What? So the universe is a mystery. Anyway, my review of this book, I bought it because I was a Bill Watterson fan. I give it a 3 out of 10. And that's because the book is black and velvety. It collects dirt and dust, and you can't touch it, without it getting dirty. Um, you want it to be a good coffee table book, right? Well, how can it be a good coffee table book if everybody who touches it gets it dirty? All right, and then the story itself is, you know, a little lame. Uh, the pages are glossy, making it difficult to even look at the pictures or look at the reading. So, um, I give this book a 3 out of 10. Is it worth the money? No. Is it worth the money if you're a Bill Watterson fan? Yes, because I have every single one of his comic books. I know that came to like $175 back in the day. Probably more now. I mean, I have every single one of them. So he has like 30 or 40 books. I painted paint by number, as you can see. This was a paint by number painting that I copied from this book. Actually, I didn't even follow the numbers because I had this book to look at. So, anyway, that's my review of the new book by Bill Watterson and John Kascht, The Mysteries. It's lame, 3 out of 10 stars.